It's Monday and it's kit building Monday here on LB0 Fox India Norwegian Adventures. And you know how you think you have everything ready way ahead of time and you suddenly realize that you didn't. I realized I forgot some tools. So, um, well, I got everything here and I see that both Kjetil and Steve is in the house. Welcome, both of you. And I can see from the viewing stats that we got a couple more peoples here. Um, and the chat says, brings me back to the old videotapes labeled stereo were available. I think TV shows have that as well. I just got to find some tabs here and we'll take a quick look at what we're doing today. It's not that hard of a kit, actually. I'll put it up on screen here because I think it was on Friday. My wife came home. Oh, I gotta embiggen this. Let me see. On Friday, my wife came home with this little kit here. It's a 2x5 watt stereo amplifier. Nothing complicated at all. And Matthew, welcome all the way from Wisconsin through the magic of ham radio YouTube. Welcome. I think you're a new viewer here, so absolutely welcome here. Not too complicated. It looks like the amplifier part of this is pretty much on a chip. We'll take a look at that later on. And when I entered the web address on on the labeling here, I got to this page, and you can see you can order it for 11 euro. Hang on. Let me just put the right tab up here. You can order it for as little as 11 euros actually here. So don't know what you need it for, but well, if you want to do a simple project, and we also have the manual for it here. Total of 11 steps, and then the 12th step is to connect the speakers, and I'm going to do that in a separate video. Multi-language manual, shouldn't be too hard. And speaking about the amplifier on the chip there, it's I'll share this. I got the data sheet for the amplifier circuit here. Carl asked if I got coffee. I actually do, but I know what you're hinting at. So you don't know. Well, you know what to do if you want to do it, but you don't have to do it. Let's just put it that way. For the rest of you viewers, I have super chats and memberships available down below. And Labcat asked what kind of chip. Let's check it out. It's a TDA 1517. And here it actually says 2x6 watts. So I'm not going to measure it or anything. But let's take a look at the kit. Let's head over to the workbench here. And just bear with me here because I got to move some. I'm bigging it that way. I need to move the microphone to somewhere where it can pick up sound. And also, and I should have checked this before stream, but I just got to tighten the microphone stand screw here. Otherwise, we won't have audio all the way through the stream like that. This is kind of challenging when doing this on stream because I got a microphone and some lights in front of me, but bear with me and tell me if the audio is no good. So this is the box. It's actually unusual for anything in ham radio actually to come in a box this nice. Doesn't really say much. It's apparently a level 3 electronics kit, and since this is the third kit building stream, I guess that's fitting. There's a link to the manual here, parts list, but let's open the box and see what's inside. Let's see. And Labcat's multitasking with Star Trek. And that's the wrong sci-fi universe. You got to watch Star Wars. Just so that's said. Let's see here. We got the PCB, nice solid thick PCB. One of the best I've seen actually. It's pretty thick. We got the same manual as we found on the website. So we should be good there. And let's see, we got a anti-static bag of parts, and surprise, surprise, this won't be anti-static for much longer. Let's see what we have here. And I mean, I could have prepared, but it's a lot more fun doing this way. Got some capacitors here. Some terminals. I guess that's for the speakers. We got one big capacitor here. We got a diode, potentiometer. I guess that's the volume control. On-off switch, mini jack, a couple of more large capacitors. And this is actually pretty nice because everything in this kit is relatively large. I would actually thought it was smaller. And I'm going to try to pay attention to the chat once in a while. And I see I'm going to move. Hang on, guys. I'm going to move myself up in the corner here so you can see more of the desk and less of the mess. And here's that chip with the stereo amplifier chip here. We got some hardware. We got a resistor. We got an LED, and we got a knob. So not too hard. Let's consult the manual here and see what the first step is. And it actually says start here. And this is the resistor. It's a 10K resistor. Shouldn't be too hard to find though, because it's the only resistor in the kit, I think. It's supposed to be on R1. So let's put this to the side, see if we can find R1 on the board. That's right here. And just for fun's sake, let's see, test the resistor here just to see. Since I got this fancy measuring equipment here. And Tobias Labcat says that looks like a nice, easy kit. Yeah, since it's a level 3 kit, I wonder how easy level 1 and 2 are. And it's 9.8 kilo ohms, so close enough. So we can turn this off. And I don't think I'm going to be measuring the components here because there aren't a lot of similar components in the kit. And it seems to be made for people that don't know electronics, and I guess that's a good thing. Let's bend the resistor here and find R1. And as I've said before, this is the kind of, I don't really know what I'm doing. And if you look on the backside here, you can actually see all the traces really nice here. Get some solder ready. And I know I don't have the correct lighting setup or anything for doing this, but it's ham radio YouTube, so bear with me. And that's the resistor. And as I said, I'm not going to test this live on stream today. I'm going to build it and make a separate video testing it. And there might be a while before that video releases. I have a lot of videos lined up now. 45 audio, ask what I missed. A lot of bad sci-fi jokes, I think. I'm trying to focus a little bit on the build here. Let's find number 2 here. And I wish I had a bigger work surface. Number 2 is the diode, and it tells me to watch the polarity. So let's get the diode in D1. This is one relatively big and hefty diode. Let's find D1 here. It's right there. And this takes a little bit more work to bend than what I usually work with. And let's just double check the polarity. The line is lined up with the line. So everything in this kit is pretty chunky, as Steve points out in the chat as well. I don't mind though. I'm not an expert solderer, so it's probably a good thing for me. Oh, this takes some heat to get warmed up. Oh, come on. I need some more heat on the soldering iron here. Let's turn it up and see if we can make this happen. Yep, got one done. Let's do the next one. And the microphone is seriously in the way here. And got 2 done. And I mean, these are chunky. Let's see if my side cutters can actually cut these. Yep, they can. And if you notice something else, I got a relatively clean and tidy workspace today because I actually cleaned the shack. I think this is going to be a pretty quick build. Number 3 is the switch on switch 1. Let's see if we can find switch 1. Let's first find the switch. And the switch is right here. And this is actually going to be a little bit of a challenge to get tacked down properly and level to the board. Let's see if we can support the board with some parts under here to get it flatter. That's better. And it's kind of hard to watch the chat while I do this. So I'm going to check it once in a while, and we'll perhaps do a discussion when I'm done here. But so far, I'm going to say that this is an easy kit for beginners to start with. And Steve asked if I'm going to use the Pringles tube to test it. For those who didn't watch the European Ham Radio show yesterday, I used a Pringles box in order to make a makeshift prototype speaker cabinet. And I could do that actually, except I got a 3.5 millimeter mini jack on the Pringles tube at the moment. The Pringles tube serves well as a prototype speaker, but I got a proper speaker enclosure in the 3D printer at the moment. So you'll see a video on that as well. Let's go on to number 3, and that's the ceramic capacitors, C1 to C3. And 3 of those are going to be 220 nanofarads. I'm not even going to check that because I got 3 of the same ones. And I see LB1 November Hotel is in the house. Welcome, Adil. Too bad we didn't get to meet up at the Norwegian ham meeting, but at least we had a QSO on 2 meters the other day. So let's find C1 to C3 here. We got C1 here, C2, C3, and where's PO? That's the right science fiction show. Just so that's been said. I'm just going to put all 3 of these in. But nice instructions. This is obviously a Learn Electronics kit, which is good. And speaking about learning electronics and radio stuff, my daughter in her science class, she's learning about electromagnetic waves in science this week in her science class, and I wish I could be there and tell the teacher what I think about electromagnetic waves. 45 Auto asks if I'm suggesting that Pringle cans aren't proper speaker boxes. Well, they work really nice, but it just looks, in lack of a better word, so ham radio in my shack. So I'm going to try to engineer something that looks a little more commercial radio in the shack. Since the ICOM radio I'm using the speaker with is a commercially made 2 meter, or probably a VHF radio from ICOM. But let's get these capacitors soldered in though. And I'm going to say, compared to the other kits I built, this has really nice surfaces to solder on. Everything's well spaced from each other. So if you never soldered or done electronics in your life, I'm guessing this could be a good start for you. So perhaps this was the kit I should have started with in this series. But I had a couple of halfway, I'm not going to say tricky because they weren't tricky, but they were pretty much at the level I had the last couple of kits I built. So this is a way easier build. And actually, the challenge now is going to find a couple of speakers that will power with a 5-watt amplifier. I got some old hi-fi speakers in the basement. I could try those. I actually tried those speakers I have down there with, I don't know if any of you guys have used a T amp before. It's a small class D amp that runs off of, I think, 8 or 10 AA batteries. Was pretty popular, let's say 10, 15 years ago, probably closer to 15 than 10 years ago. So, and that's, I think that's a 10-watt amplifier. So, I'm guessing that you could run them off a 5-watt, at least as a proof of concept. Next one is terminal blocks, SK3 and SK4. What I'm a little bit confused, okay, obviously the last terminal block is for power. So we're going to have SK1 for power. Let's see if we can put all 3 of these in here and manage to rest the board on them. That would make my job easier. Let's see if I can make that happen. That actually worked pretty well. I got a feeling that this is going to be a quicker build stream than my other build streams. And one thing that has changed since I did the first kit build video, or the first kit build stream, is that I got proper leaded solder now. Not only does it smell better, but it's a lot easier to work with. And I'm actually going to turn the temperature down on my soldering iron now, since I'm done with that diode. Thank you, Matthew, for becoming a new member on my channel. Greatly appreciated. Really, thank you a lot. And I see Anton's in the house. I haven't seen you in a while, Anton, so great to have you back. And Steve says, shouldn't smell the solder. And no, I shouldn't. And I try not to. Oh, I forgot the last terminal block while I'm babbling away here. And I see that they're not completely flush to the surface, but I'm not seeing this as a kit I'm going to use a lot. And if so, I'll just resolder it. What I actually need on my workbench, speaking about smelling the solder smoke, is actually some ventilation. So, and as all middle-aged men, I also have a big parts box or several parts boxes in the basement. So I'm going to find an old computer fan there and get some ventilation here. The terminal blocks didn't turn out perfectly. They're not completely flush to the board, but I mean, who cares? It's going to work nonetheless. Let's go ahead and find the next step here, which is, and I like how everything is illustrated here. It makes it easy for someone who is new to kit building and electronics to build it. It's a little bit like those, you remember those small airplanes, small World War II airplanes that we built as kids? That you glued together and painted and everything. I usually didn't paint mine because when I was done gluing everything together, I was kind of finished with the project. But then it's the stereo jack here. It's kind of like that. It's easy and not complex at all. Let's get. That seems to be pretty easy to get flush to the board. And I see Labcat says, build a solder fume sucker should be on a 2024 to-do list. Matthew said, looking forward to your... Sorry about that. I've been battling a cold for a week. Looking forward to your next 10-meter POTA bonanza. I got a video coming out next week, but as a member, Matthew, you can see that already now. Or it's actually not next week. I think it's... I might be wrong, but I think it's coming out on Saturday. Where there's a real 10-meter bonanza going on. Let's get that 3.5 millimeter jack soldered in. And this might be one of those parts where I should have the temperature up on the soldering iron, but it looks like we're doing all right. And everything's spaced so far apart here that you shouldn't really have trouble with solder bridges on this kit build. Yeah, you shouldn't really have trouble with solder bridges on that skit build. Almost got one, but managed to avoid that. Should have a little bit more heat here, but we'll make it work. There we go. And that's actually one thing that is missing from these instructions. It does not say anything about how hot the soldering iron should be. Gives you a couple of tips on how to solder, But that's about it. Next one is the electrolytic capacitor, and that's going to be on C4. Let's see, that's the 100 picofarad one. That says it's even labeled here. I know you can't see it, but it is. And that's a great question, Steve. At the moment, I'm running at 320 degrees on the soldering iron. And William's got a 4-meter radio coming in on Thursday. Well, good for you. I tried 4 meters last summer and didn't have a whole lot of luck with it. Let's see the polarity here. The long leg is on the plus side, and that's the C4. These are really nice and big parts to work with, though. And Terry, good point. If it burns your finger, it's hot enough. Or if it smells like chicken, it is also hot enough. Either that or you're holding it wrong. So let's get this capacitor soldered in here, though. There we go. And now my newly vacuumed workspace is getting full of cutoffs. Andy's in the house. Welcome, Andy, and welcome, Henning. So that was that. Next part, the LED. And yeah, we got to bend that a little bit. Let's just figure that out. Let's have a look at the polarity here. Where does the LED go, though? It goes here. And this does not say where it's supposed to go. I'm guessing it's this way around here. And do I really need to bend this? Only if I'm putting it in a case, and I'm not doing that. But just for example's sake, let's find a pair of pliers and bend it nonetheless, so it looks nice. And find the right spot for it again. I haven't even checked what kind of power I need, so I'm not going to power it on today either. And there we go. The LED soldered in right on top there. Let's see the next part here. That's the stereo amplifier. That's the chip. And it says to watch the position. And that should mean that there's a notch here and there's a notch there. And just hang on, guys. That was just my son wanting to have his phone open. So I'm just going to open his phone real quickly here for you. Or not for you, for him, actually. There we go. Some bonus time for him there on some bonus time for him on his phone there. And we got the amplifier chip in here. And that's actually, it does not sit particularly flush on the board. And I gotta say, this is a lot easier than the surface mounted chip that I did on the last kit. This is actually the right size kit for when you have a microphone in between you and the surface you're soldering. There we go. Manage that without a solder bridge as well, as far as I can see. Does not look, see if I can get it to focus here. Does not look perfect, but not bad. And Anton says that his son hates that, and I guess that's when a phone, when the phone locks up. It's I guess it's Family Link, Anton. It's the one for the Android phones. Let's see, we're getting close. We're done with the first part here. Now we got C5 to C7. That's those big capacitors there. There shouldn't be a lot of holes left here. On the larger pin and the positive side. That's one. Or not the larger pin, the longer pin. I guess it's larger as well. Just depends on how you look at it. Let's bend these legs a little bit so they'll stick in place. And I honestly didn't think that this kit was so big when looking at the pictures. We're nearing the end of it now. And then once I get through the work week, and I got a couple of really busy days this coming week. Once I get through with that, I'll test it out and see if it works. Not sure how and where I'm going to use it, but there's got to be somewhere that I can use this. Perhaps make my own Bluetooth speaker. That would actually be a pretty cool project, making your own Bluetooth speaker, 3D printed and everything. And shit, that's nice. It's always nice when there's a bit of room, and not just with those tiny SMDs. Okay, and then the last part, we'll take a look at the manual for the last part here as well. That's number 11, the potentiometer and knob. And this is the first manual on the kit builds I've seen that starts with the smaller components. And I got to say, I really like that. And I'm thinking I'm going to need a little bit more heat here. So let's turn the iron up to 375. We'll try that. And I actually got another this weekend, and that was an infant half-wave kit, QRP infant half-wave kit released by the Norwegian Radio Relay League. And it's a really, really nice QRP infant half-wave kit, and it's trapped. So you can actually, you get all the HF bands. So I'm gonna build that at some point, but that's a little bit too big for my surface to work on. So I'm probably gonna not live stream that, but make that as a video. And it looks like we're done here. We got the knob here. Okay, I gotta do something. We gotta put the little dot in the right place when volume's down. There's got to be some visual indicator of where we have minimum and maximum volume. It goes a little bit too far down here. And the big question is, does it go to 11? Is it one louder? And for everyone who wants to know, that is one of my favorite movies of all time. So we got the volume knob here. Yeah, that's proper. That's the proper direction. And we got the kit here, all relatively large parts today. Not the prettiest job, but I guess you're used to that if you've followed this channel for a while. This is also to show you that you don't need to be an expert in soldering or electronics to actually build kits. Let's move over to the other side here so I can have a look and see what you guys are saying in the chat. So let's see here. Steve says that the BBC video player goes to 11. Awesome. That's the way I like it, because that's one louder. I can't really say it with the proper accent that is in Spinal Tap. And if you haven't seen Spinal Tap, one of the best mockumentaries out there. So I guess this was a pretty quick build. I guess we used about half an hour for the build. I spent the first half hour just talking a little bit of gibberish, and then the rest of the time here. What we could do then is actually take a look at, I'm going to find that that other kit here, and we can have a quick look at what that looks like. Or perhaps we shouldn't. I kind of want to open that live as well. So we're not going to do that. I'm babbling a little bit. Tobias says he should look for a small tube amplifier kit, and definitely yes, you should. I'm not sure I should, but if you do that, I'll follow your stream as well. And Leningrad Cowboys. Yeah, that's a mockumentary as well, isn't it? Or they're a real band, aren't they? I don't really I don't really remember now. But we got the amplifier built. That's awesome. Let's take a look at what's coming the next couple of weeks on the channel. I got a couple of more videos that was lined up here. I'm just gonna share a screen here and see if I do this right. And I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger. So the next couple of videos coming as International POTA with DX Bonanza. That's a 10-meter video. That's awesome. That's coming on March 2nd. So that's on Saturday. Yeah. And then the week after, it's the cheap Chinese QRP tuner that I bought from AliExpress. And just as you watch this here, it is a really good tuner. You can actually, right now, if you're a member of the channel, see the International POTA with DX Bonanza video. That's already released for my members. Those are the things coming out here on my channel the next couple of weeks. I got a couple of more videos in the pipeline, though. I'm going to test a stereo amplifier. I bought an ICOM ICF1610. I'm going to pull that up here. So you can take a look at that radio. That is, I'm going to say that's a fun radio. It's not a ham radio, but it's a fun radio. It's an ICOM commercial radio, and that thing is built like a tank. And I've done some really I've looked at it a little bit, and it's really easy to program, and it's just simply works, and it's really sensitive. I'm hearing repeaters that I couldn't hear otherwise in other radios. The bad thing is that there's no VFO. You only have memories, but you have a lot of memories though. So I'm going to take a deeper look into that radio. I've built let's call it a preparedness packet radio box today, which contains old cell phone, a 2-meter radio, a Yaesu FD60 2-meter radio that runs on AA batteries, so you don't really have to worry about charging, and a mobile link in there, together with a small Slim Jim antenna. So that's kind of my preparedness WinLink packet radio kit there. I'm going to do a video on that. And there was one more thing that I was going to say. Just try to remember that. And that will come back to me, the other thing that I was going to say, and you'll see that. But there'll be a couple of new videos coming on. I got a couple of good ideas that are coming out. So we'll take a look at all of those. And I guess that's it for now. Thank you guys for watching. And thank you to, I think it was Matthew that became a member of my channel. Thank you, Matthew. It's greatly appreciated. I've said this before, and I try not to say too much, but doing ham radio YouTube is nothing that you get rich off of. And it actually usually costs a little bit more than you gain. So every little thing is greatly appreciated, and it all comes back to running the channel, to buying those little gadgets that I can show off on stream and all that kind of things. And it gives me a little bit of headroom to buy stuff that you probably shouldn't buy, actually. That's it for now. I'm going to say 7-3. Except for Shita says to remember to buy him a coffee. Either that, use a super chat, use a membership, use buy me a coffee. This I gotta address though, because I got one of those merch stores that every YouTuber have, and it's made on demand. And I've sold 2 things: Irish Ham Radio bought a trucker hat for me, and someone bought an iPhone 13 LB0 FI Norwegian Ham Ventures case. And I'm really wondering who goes around with a LB0 Fox India iPhone case. If you know that, join the Terrace Discord. thehamshow.eu/discord. And on that note, 7-3.